6:15. This is Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vichetunga. First, take a look at the headlines. The President chairs the initiative for granting free land deeds in the Kilinochchi district. The Department of Meteorology issues a warning notice to several sea areas today as well. Landslide warnings have been issued to several districts. The night mail trains from Badulla and other special trains on the upcountry line have been cancelled today due to trees and rocks falling onto the tracks. The central bank says that the micro value of the EPF has increased by 11.5%. The UNICEF funds installation of oxygen generation plant at Tisamaharama. And in news overseas, President Xi Jinping stresses the need for comprehensively deepening reforms to drive Chinese modernization. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. Under the visionary concept of President Ranil Wickremesinghe ensuring the full entitlement to free land rights, the Kilinochchi district program of the Urumia initiative convened this morning at the Nelumpiasa Hall in Irenamadu, presided over by the President. A total of 1,700 free household deeds covering 4 division secretariat divisions of the Kilinochchi district were distributed, with the President symbolically participating in a ceremony overseeing the distribution of the deeds. Addressing the gathering, President Wickremesinghe expressed that the government's ability to grant land rights to the self-sufficient rice farmers of the Wani district is a remarkable achievement. Additionally, the President highlighted plans for agricultural modernization in the country, emphasizing that confirming farmers' land rights will significantly bolster the advancement of this program. The Department of Meteorology issues a warning notice to several sea areas today as well. It will be effective until 12 noon tomorrow. Accordingly, the sea areas from Mannar to Colombo, Galle and across Hambantota to Pothuvel will be rough. The wind speed can increase up to 70 km per hour in these areas. The fishing communities have been requested to refrain from engaging in fishing activities until further notice. Meanwhile, further landslide warnings have been issued to several districts in the island. The warnings have been issued to Colombo, Kalutara, Kagalla, Nuwara Eliya, Ratnapura, Gambha and Kandy districts. The night mail trains from Badulla and other special trains along the upcountry line have been cancelled today due to trees and rocks falling onto the tracks, Sri Lanka Railway announced. Meanwhile, Deputy General Manager of Railways, N.J. Idipolage, stated that over 15 incidents of trees falling onto the rail tracks have been reported so far. Several train operations have been cancelled. Accordingly, night postal train, which is to be operated at 6:30 p.m. from Badulla to Colombo, and the special intercity train to be operated from Colombo 4 to Badulla at 7:30 p.m. have been cancelled. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The central bank says that the micro value of the EPF has increased by 11.5% when compared to the year 2022. The growth of income has been attributed to investments done by the fund in a proper manner. The entire contribution fund has increased by 8.2% last year. The central bank also stated that the amount of benefits to be paid to the members and their legal beneficiaries has increased by 32.4%. Health Secretary Dr. Palitha Mahipala recently opened an oxygen generation plant at the Tisamaharama Government Hospital. The UNICEF has provided the funding required for the project. The Health Ministry spokesman said that the new facility, built at a cost of 50 million rupees, could meet the oxygen requirement for all the government hospitals in the Hambantota district. The official said that this was in line with the instructions issued by Health Minister Ramesh Pathirana with a view to improving the overall health sector facilities in the provinces. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The President chairs the initiative for granting free land deeds in the Kilinochchi district. The Department of Meteorology issues a warning notice to several sea areas today as well. Landslide warnings have been issued to several districts. The night mail trains from Badulla and other special trains along the upcountry line have been cancelled today due to trees and rocks falling onto the tracks. The central bank says that the micro value of the EPF has increased by 11.5%. The UNICEF funds the installation of oxygen generation plant at Thisamaharama. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The main news story for this evening: Sri Lanka black tea is world famous and is being heavily consumed in China, said Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Sri Lanka, Ki Hong. The Chinese and Sri Lankan people have very similar love for tea, and this beverage will further deepen the understanding and friendship between the people of China and Sri Lanka and promote the people-to-people connection between China and Sri Lanka, he further said. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And watch live this evening: a looming cyclonic storm possesses a significant threat to the southeastern Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal areas, prompting urgent warnings to naval and fishing communities to exercise extreme caution. According to the latest forecast by the meteorological authorities, the depression is anticipated to continue its northeastward trajectory, consolidating into a cyclonic storm over the east central Bay of Bengal and subsequently to track northwards, intensifying further into a severe cyclonic storm over the same region by 11:30 p.m. today. And that came to you in Watch Light.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news: the Chinese president calls for further reforms to power modernization in Shandong inspection. President Putin says ready to continue talks with Ukraine but on previous agreements. Kyrgyz president says cyber terrorism poses a biggest danger among new terrorist attacks. Those are the headlines, and now let's move to the details of the world news. Chinese President Xi Jinping has stressed comprehensively deepening reform to drive Chinese modernization during an inspection trip to the eastern economic powerhouse of Shandong province. President Xi, also the Secretary General of the Communist Party of China and the Central Committee and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, urged the coastal province to pursue reform-driven, high-quality development and build itself into a hub of high-level opening up. Shandong, a frontier of China's reform and opening up, is now in an industrial base and a major grain producer. With a population of 100 million, the province ranked third in GDP last year among all provincial-level regions in China. Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday said that Russia is ready to continue negotiations with Ukraine, but only based on the agreements reached before. We let them negotiations return, but not from what one side wants, but based on those agreements reached during the negotiations in Belarus and Turkey, and based on the current situation on the ground, Putin told a press conference following talks with his Belarusian counterpart. Alexander Lukashenko in Minsk also was present. In the Istanbul agreement satisfied both the Ukrainian and Russian sides in the year 2022, Putin said, adding that Russia supports the resumption of negotiations with Ukraine. Kyrgyz President Sadir Japarov has said that cybercrime and cyberterrorism poses the greatest danger among the new terrorist risks and threats. No country in the world is able to cope with the threat of terrorism alone. It should be noted that new terrorist risks and threats are recently emerged, with cybercrime and cyberterrorism posing the greatest danger, the Kyrgyz president emphasized. Japarov made these remarks during a meeting held on Friday within the framework of the 54th meeting of the Council of Heads of Security Bodies and Special Services of the Commonwealth Independent States in Bishkek. And that was the world news.
Development news.
An initial discussion has been conducted between the officials from the Indian government and the Geological Surveys and Mines Bureau of Sri Lanka to see the possibilities of developing graphite industry in the country, an informed source said. During the discussion, collaboration on developing exploration and mining technologies, the use of advanced airborne geophysical exploration techniques for exploring Mian-type graphite deposits in Sri Lanka were taken up. And that was the development news.
moving on with sports news.
The Maldives junior table tennis team arrived yesterday to participate in the South Asian Youth Table Tennis Championship commencing tomorrow. This will continue until the 29th of May at the Municipal Indoor Stadium in Kandy. The chairman of the organizing committee of the tournament, Chandana Pereira, said that the Maldives team is the first from South Asia to arrive here. Teams from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan and Nepal are scheduled to arrive today. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekakiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka Tourism performed a successful stint at the Arabian Travel Market 2024 in Dubai, UAE. Sri Lanka Tourism made headlines at the 31st edition of the Arabian Travel Market, which was held from the 6th to 9th May 2024 in Dubai, UAE. The travel fair was held at the Dubai World Trade Center in line with the theme Empowering Innovation, Transforming Travel Through Entrepreneurship. This is the largest tourism event of the Middle East, which provides global exposure, business and travel opportunities for the tourism sector. That is the business news. Economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
And in economic news, trade centers for many agricultural products in the Hambantota district will be expanded. Plans have been made to commence such trade centers in 12 division secretariat in the district. Contribution of the state and private sector has been received in this regard. That is economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. Due to the southwest monsoon condition, the prevailing showery and windy conditions are expected to continue. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern and southern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Nuwara Eliya district. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern and north central provinces. Strong winds of about 60 km per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills and in the northern, north central, western, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Fairly strong winds about 40 km per hour can be expected at times elsewhere in the island. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The President shares the initiative for granting free land deeds in the Kilinochchi district. The Department of Meteorology issues warning notice to several sea areas today as well. Landslide warnings have been issued to several districts. The night mail trains from Bandula and other special trains along the upcountry line have been cancelled today due to trees and rocks falling onto the tracks. The central bank says the micro value of the EPF has increased by 11.5%. The UNICEF funds installation of oxygen generation plant at Tesamaharama. And in news overseas, President Xi Jinping stresses the need for comprehensively deepening reform to drive Chinese modernization. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Now it's back to your regular Saturday evening host, my good friend Shandima, on the other side of the glass panel to keep you entertained.